This week on the Spotlight, can Robin Ventura survive the hot seat? He is in some trouble, the way the Sox are playing. Rick Hahn says, we're all in this together. He's saying the right things. But Robin's still in trouble. And then we flash back to Brad Sellers and the mid-1980s Bulls. This week on the Spotlight. Check out my website, benkowski.com, for my weekly article and up-to-the-minute trivia sites. From wherever Chicago sports teams are making news, it's the 27th year of the Sports Spotlight. Flowers for every imaginable occasion at Lansing Floral Shop. Call them at 708-474-1212. They deliver. You've got to get to the Cove. Benkowski Trivia. Their free speaking show at July 1st, 8 p.m. Great people, great game. 1750 East 55th Street. Fun times. Family Dentist. Lawrence Ferlin. E is the dentist. 109th and Kedzie. Crowns, veneers, cleanings, and more. With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. You've got to get to Dr. Sherman Clay, chiropractor. Gentle adjusting. Most insurance accepted. Massage therapy, too. Walk-ins are welcome. Call 773-324-4325. That's HEAL. Dr. Sherman Clay. Calabria Imports has Italian foods and a great deli. You mention this TV ad, and you get a free Joe tea with a sandwich order. Conveniently located at 1905 West 103rd Street, Calabria Imports has great stuff. Check it out. I do all the time. Since 1967, El Jardín has been serving the finest Mexican food. Before, after, during ball games, located conveniently just 3 blocks south of Wrigley Field, 3335 North Clark. Whether there's a game or not, you still get hungry, and El Jardín has great service, great food, and great drinks. I've enjoyed every meal I've had there, and you will too. So get to El Jardín for great Mexican food at 3335 North Clark Street in Chicago. You'll be glad you did. We're back on the Spotlight, and of course we're at the Cell. And usually when Rick Hahn speaks before Robin, it's serious stuff. The 5-game road losing streak was the issue on this day. And Hahn speaks in kind of a preemptive way. I don't know, it's got a little bit of a political edge to it. Not in a bad way, but, you know, trying to address and identify the problems and reassure everybody that they're on it. But there is some trouble here, and a lot of it's in the hands of the White Sox hitters, namely the bats.
That's rough. About as rough as our road trip. How's that for a segue? Yeah, we obviously it was an extremely disappointing road trip, which has been a bit of a recurring theme this year. This most recent one, the one that started the season in Kansas City, the Baltimore-Minnesota one, I think between those 3 trips we've managed to go 0-13, which is obviously not only a poor way of trying to build on some of the momentum we've had going on at home, but also made it difficult on ourselves to get back into this race. I will tell you the frustration level is rather high within the clubhouse, but at the same time the focus and commitment and belief in that team is strong within the guys in uniform, which is good. but I'll open up the questions because I know there's a fair amount of things on your mind.
You said the belief in the clubhouse is strong. What about the belief outside the clubhouse and the rest of the organization?
Well, the organization absolutely believes in this team. Absolutely. I'm talking more in the focus on the matter at hand in terms of trying to win a ball game, and the belief that we're going to be in a position to win a ball game is there and good. I realize and completely not only understand but have heard from outside the ballpark the frustration, and we share that frustration. Our focus has to be on what the commitment is inside that clubhouse and their focus and their belief and their efforts to win that ball game on any given night.
At what point would you get together as a group and say, possibly we got good players who just do not play well together?
I guess my response to that is, even if we were 10 games up right now in the division, I would not sit here and give you a date or a plan for impending moves or what our priorities or goals would be over the coming weeks. So I'm not going to do that at this point either. It's just not, there's no real strategic advantage for laying out specifically what's going to happen and when. Do we have thoughts on potential moves to try to not only reinvigorate the 2015 club, but also put us in a better position to contend going forward? Absolutely. But in terms of timing or the nature of those moves, that's certainly not anything we're going to lay out in advance.
We've been here before with you on this, and
Too much.
yeah. And obviously, it comes back to the easy target is the manager. What can you say about how this affects Robin and just?
From my standpoint, that hasn't changed, and that we're all in this together. Until a player is traded, or there's been a change on the staff, or there's been a change in the front office, or a change with an advanced scout, or whatever, we're all in this 100% together. We're all accountable together, and we're all doing everything in our energy and efforts to put ourselves in the best position to win. Should we get to the point where any of that changes, you'll know, and we'll explain why.
What do you do as an executive to make sure people get better? What can you do?
Communication is key, making sure the right information is available, making sure the right effort is being put forth, making sure guys are healthy, making sure they're getting the support they need in every element of their preparation. Ultimately, it is the players who are between the lines who bear the responsibility for their own performance. But we need to make sure that we're giving them everything they can from a coaching standpoint, from a scouting standpoint, from an objective analysis standpoint to succeed. We don't have a lot of control over what happens between 7 and 10, but we have a great deal of control over putting these guys in a position to fulfill their potential, and we got to make sure we're doing that.
Rick, frustration's got to be the operative word here, and how frustrating is it that a lot of the guys that you brought in have not lived up to what you had hoped that they would do?
Again, we're all extremely frustrated. It doesn't matter to me whether it's someone we brought in from the minors a week ago, a big free agent deal we made in the offseason, or someone who we drafted and developed for the last several years. If someone's not achieving up to the level that we anticipated, it's disappointing. We are at a point right now offensively where, from top to bottom, we're underachieving. Certainly wasn't something we anticipated, and it is something that you can take at least some solace in, given the track records, that it's going to get better. There does come a point, though, where you can only look at the back of the baseball card for so long and say it's going to get better, and you still need to start seeing some results out on the field before you have to start making changes.
What kind of shakeups have you seen that have been effective to take a team that seems to be, for lack of a better term, lethargic, and make them play with, greater vigor?
I'm not quite sure I understand the question. You're talking about specific teams that have done stuff?
Yeah, or teams that you've been involved in.
There's been, you've seen teams make changes, whether it's been from a lineup standpoint, from a player personnel standpoint, from a staffing standpoint, even more behind the scenes in terms of the scouting information standpoint that can potentially reinvigorate a club. There's also been those that have had instances where you try to remove some of the pressure and let guys just exhale a little bit and hopefully let their natural ability take over an extended period of time that has allowed guys to get back in. There's a lot of different avenues that you need to explore to find out which is the right button to push.
Rick, you got power.
You're watching the Sports Spotlight, show 1409. You've got to get to Lansing Floral Shop. Open at 8 a.m. daily. Besides a great array of live flowers, they have custom silks, Bridgewater candles. They want you to plan your parties early at a wide delivery area. They're located at 3420 Ridge Road in Lansing, or you can call 708-474-1212. Weddings, funerals, birthdays, anniversaries, and guys, try the No Reason flower. Believe me, it works. Lansing Floral Shop. Give them a call, 708-474-1212. Kim G. Sherman, psychotherapist, Des Plaines Wellness Center. Therapy for individuals, couples, families. Call 847-962-4849. I've known Kim for over 20 years. She is a true professional, and she will help you. Give her a call. Family Dentist, Lawrence Furlan, DDS, 109th and Kedzie, crowns, veneers, cleanings, improving your smile. They do a great job. Call 773-233-7044. Excellent work, impeccable. Call the Family Dentist, 773-233-7044. They did a great job for me, and they'll do a great job for you. Nuevo Leon, for the best Mexican cuisine since 1962. Serving every day from 7 a.m. to midnight. Conveniently located 1515 West 18th Street, just a block east of Ashland in Chicago. Of course, they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a wide range of menu items. Everything from steak, seafood, to breakfast, to chicken, pork, dine-in, carry-out, tacos, enchiladas, everything you can imagine, and great quality at Nuevo Leon, 1515 West 18th. We're back on the Spotlight. We're talking White Sox baseball. And this 2015 team appeared loaded with the 6 big acquisitions in the offseason. A lot of high hopes dashed by terribly inconsistent play. Some bad pitching, a lot of poor hitting, some crappy base running, and some unenthusiastic fielding. Besides that, there was no problem. But Robin Ventura, increasingly in the firing line for questions about how this team plays, fielded more, a couple from me, and looked like they were beginning to get under his skin at times.
You might be too close to it to appreciate it, but the pitching run the Pirates on, that's historic. That's phenomenal.
Well, we're pretty close to it. We saw it the last couple of days.
I meant to enjoy it.
Yeah, not enjoying it, but yeah, you do. You get to see it, and you're impressed by it. I mean, they have some more arms coming too. So yeah, you do see it. We have some guys that we feel capable of the same thing.
Robin, can you just talk about the frustration level, not only recently, but for most of the season so far, not accomplishing what you want to do?
Yeah, and it needs to turn around. I think, you look at it, we have a stretch where we do, we first start out not doing too well, and then you hit a stretch where you start playing better, kind of get it back to where you think it's heading in the right direction, and then, you look at it again, and you don't play well for a stretch. And I think right now offensively is, that's the frustration right now is you're not able to score runs, kind of answer back anytime they score runs, and that's frustrating because leaving here the last time you felt pretty good about the way it was going. You play a team like Houston that's in first place, and you play well against them, you pitch well, and then it just goes south on you.
How do you fix the collective offensive approach? It seems a lot, a certain degree of undisciplined hitting, a lack of execution with men on base. And
what do you mean, like execution on base? Like getting hit with a guy in scoring position?
Moving the runners along, laying a bunt down, some of the basic things that need to be done that just don't get done and leave you with runners stranded.
I think that, when you get the left on base stuff, that always never sits well. Execution, getting the hit is execution, but when guys are on base, you would like to see guys knock them in. That's the execution we're really looking for. I think that guys are hoping to get to, and really you have 2 choices. You can either come in, fight like hell and scratch and claw, or you can curl up in a ball. And nobody in there is going to curl up into a ball. They're all going to come out here and compete and scratch and claw.
You're not getting slugging percentage or on-base percentage. Do you feel like your hands are tied when you look at a lineup, try to make a combination, how it's going to all work? Do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, you want a little more of that. I mean, you want a little more pop in the lineup. I think when we played against Houston, you saw a little bit of that. In the last 5 games, there hasn't been much of it. So you have to be able to get guys on base. You have to be able to be a threat and be able to answer back quickly. We did that against Houston. We haven't done that lately, especially in the last couple days.
How do you know when you and your coaches are in your minds are doing enough or too much, where you're giving them too much? Where's that fine line?
I mean, like
giving
too much.
working really hard extra time, early, or just say,
well, you come
show
out,
up and
you come out early and you do your work and you make sure you're going through the things that are necessary, that you feel are important, and you come out, and it's always different. Every guy's a little bit different. His position is different. Probably a swing at that time. Everybody's a little different at that point, but you can get to a point where it might be good for him not to hit.
Right.
Or to not be on the field and come out and do the old-fashioned put it on and go out and play. Maybe they're thinking too much when they go out here, and the last time we were at home, we didn't hit on the field very much, and we played better. So there are times when not having them go out here might be the best answer.
And we'll have more on the Spotlight right after these important messages. Don't go away.
With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. Go play at Red Shoes Billiards, 12009 South Pulaski in Alsip, featuring 16 Brunswick Gold Crown pool tables, drop fluorescent lighting fixtures, and the fabulous grade of cloth. Call 708-388-3700.
And now video gaming is available at Red Shoes from open till close. And don't forget, the Illinois Lottery, too.
That's Red Shoe Billiards, 12009 South Pulaski.
You know you should get to the Dirty Sock on alternate Thursdays at 8 p.m. when I do my trivia game. They have great food, great drink, great people at 93rd and Roberts Road. It's a fun place. I've been going there for years. So start coming out on Thursday nights at least. I'll see you at 8 o'clock. We'll have fun. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie does tune-ups, transmission, AC service, engine repair, tire repair, oil changes, and emission system repair. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and they've done a great job for me. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie. You've got to get to Papa Joe's new location, 5900 West 111th Street. Italian beef, tetrazzini, great pizza, Parmesan, ravioli, and more. All my classic choices. New location, and they can still deliver into the city. Get to Papa Joe's. We're back on the Spotlight, and the 2015 White Sox have been up and down in a confusing way. There, I don't care what anybody says. This is a team with 4 legitimate starting pitchers, a fairly loaded bullpen with some veterans, including a superb closer, and a lineup of guys with enough proven track record to at least be in the middle of pack of runs scored, but they're not. And so Rick Hahn, the GM, talks about these things because as July is approaching, it's time to do something or get off the pot. And I don't know if it's a major trade that would shake this club up. You hope it doesn't have to come to that, but something needs to be done, or otherwise the White Sox will end up being sellers. And Too much good was done in the off-season. That shouldn't happen.
Rick, the power numbers are down, and the on-base and base running numbers to compensate that are also down. Is this kind of like the perfect storm of things that could go wrong?
Certainly from the offensive standpoint, I think that's a fair way of putting it. We're not, there just hasn't been that consistency. We just haven't had guys perform at the level that, one, they're capable of, and two, more importantly, that we've seen out of them in years past. Again, it's getting to the point where it's not early anymore. There's still ample season left. You've still seen teams, numerous teams over a number of years who have gone on tremendous second half runs, who have gone, even starting in August, to put themselves in a position to go deep into the postseason. You can't bank on that, though. As much as we like to look at the guy's track record and believe it's going to get better, we are getting to the point where, these series or games that we are giving away, we're going to have to make up more quickly than just saying it's going to happen out in the future.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
How much does it drive you for the games that the team is out? In other words, if you fall double digits out, is that a driving force for change in your mind?
Again, there's not a magic number. It's about a combination of, can we reasonably expect to get back in this thing based on where we are from a personnel standpoint, where we are from a health standpoint, the remaining schedule, how our opponents look. It's not, once we get to X number of games back on this date, we're done.
It has to be a consideration, though.
Well, sure, but that's part of the likelihood of being able to get back into the race. But it's more than just a number. It's about what you're seeing with your eyes in terms of player performance and the likelihood of them being able to achieve more, or is this the level you're going to get? We've talked about a 60-game mark, and we have passed that now, and this team has shown itself to be underachieving offensively. So now you need to decide over the next 100, is it reasonable to expect they're going to get better based on the track records, or is there for some reason this isn't going to click from an offensive standpoint, which is going to make it that much more difficult going forward? And there are reasons for optimism given the history of the offense, the individual performance in the offense. That said, we certainly understand, and the feeling we certainly have felt in that clubhouse is that they know it's time, it's got to get going soon in order to start fulfilling some of that promise.
Rick, in general, because of the second wild card, have you seen other teams be more aggressive earlier in seasons when talking about possible trades?
The second wild card puts more in the mix of the buyer mode, I would say. I think teams are a little more, they can also actually work the opposite of what you laid out, in that teams are a little more reticent to become sellers early because they feel they can still be in it. They may not necessarily start buying sooner, but they're not going to sell as soon either, because they're going to let this thing breathe for a little bit and see if we can work our way back in because of that second wild card, and then maybe turn into buyers. So there's very few clubs, I think, certainly this early, that, for lack of a better description, have declared themselves sellers. That may well be because of the second wild card. I will say that since the draft is now behind us, the trade chatter has picked up a little bit over the last several days or week or so, and that's certainly going to continue over the next few weeks as we head into July.
I eat on the pasta twice.
Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria at Grand and Racine is the place to go before United Center Pavilion, Bulls, Hawks, Cubs, and Sox too. Dine in or carry out with great family recipes, including homemade pastas, steaks, seafood, a great fun bar area. Meet people, have a tremendous time. At Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria, Grand and Racine, you'll find a great variety of foods for you to enjoy at Salerno's.
Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie is great. Tune-ups, transmissions, AC service, engine repair, tire repair, oil changes. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. They do a great job for me, and they'll do a great job for you. They're quick, and they don't charge an arm and a leg. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair, 108th and Kedzie. You've got to get to Shelton Fireworks, the world's largest warehouse, off Interstate 94, exit 22B in Porter, Indiana. Row after row of the best fireworks anywhere, from the little ones to the grand finales that'll end your show. Birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, in addition to the 4th of July. Just get over there to Shelton Fireworks now. Then you can reload by the time summer comes. Shelton Fireworks, I-94, exit 22B in Portage. Reggie's is a great place with tons of music, interesting people and staff, great food and drink at 21st and State. And amongst the cool things they have, Benkowski Trivia. All shows are now Monday at 6 p.m. Reggie's, 21st and State, a fun place. You better get to Jackie's Hot Dogs, open past midnight 7 days. 2 Polish and fry, $5.69. Gyros plate with big fries, $8.59. Big Baby double cheese, $2.85. Tamales, Italian beef, pizza puff shakes, chicken breast, onion rings, and more at 5415 South Pulaski. They have it all going on at Jackie's Hot Dogs. I highly recommend it. I eat there periodically. I love it. You should try it too.
We're back on the Benkowski Sports Spotlight. We're at Champions, and it is the grand opening here at the O'Hare Marriott. Very lively happenings and a load of celebrities on hand, and that's why we're rattling them off one after another. We're going to talk more NBA basketball with the Bulls right now. Pride of the Big Ten in Ohio State. He had a great career in Columbus, and now he's come to the Bulls where he's made a dynamic presence as a sixth man off the bench with great shot blocking skills, and we're going to talk about that right now. Please welcome Brad Sellers. And Brad, when I was looking at the numbers, I love to look at statistics because they do tell an important story, and you project your shots blocked over a 48-minute span, and you're up there in some pretty interesting company.
Well, you know, I think that's been one facet of my game I've had in college, and I've tried to really get involved into it this year, you know, and I got off to a pretty good start at the beginning of the season, and I was just trying to help my teammates out, basically, and I racked up a lot early.
Now, one thing about being a guy off the bench, as you've been doing lately, since Scotty came back from his injury, I feel it's sort of a pressure-packed position because you're expected to come in and immediately kind of fill a void or change the momentum of the game or can a couple of quick jumpers to be the silencer, and I'd just like to find out how you feel about that role.
Well, it's definitely a different role than being a starter. You have to come in and the minutes are limited, but you have to make yourself felt, make your presence felt, and be the spark plug. So whether that be blocking shots or scoring a few points, you have to come in and do something that's going to be productive to the team.
Now, in doing some shows of this nature with some of your teammates, most notably Horace Grant and Scottie Pippen, have been very vocal in your defense, saying that they feel if the fans backed off you a little bit, you would play with that much more gusto, and they say they see it on the road. Do you feel that when you're on the road, away from the pretty tough stadium crowd, that you're more relaxed and you're more into your game?
Well, I basically just try to keep it neutral, whether we're playing at home or away. And you know, I've had some pretty good games on the road, and so I guess that kind of tends to lead someone into the thought that I play better on the road. But you know, it's just a fact that I have to live with, and while I'm here in Chicago, and you know, at this point in my career, 3 years into the league with the Bulls, I pretty much got it behind me, and I just go out and play. And you know, I can't worry about factors that I can't control. And you know, I think my teammates get a little bit more choked up about it than I.
This week's show has been brought to you by the Lansing Floral Shop. Call for your flowers at 708-474-1212. Huck Finn, a great wide-ranging menu, along with donuts and ice cream. Open 24 hours at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero.
Imprint Graphics, leaders in booklet, perfect bound saddle stitch. Very competitive pricing, 708-396-1010.